good friends who are very approachable. They're nice people, very incredible individuals. But we're all fucking nerds. So, so there's that. We're all bodybuilders, but we do have different things to us that makes us unique. Next up, whoever's ready, take the stand.
Yeah. So I'm David Demesquita.
I apparently know how to speak Spanish.
Did you know every single time he takes a sip of coffee, it actually covers his mouth, but it puts a new mouth there?
No, that's why I like this mug.
It's phenomenal. I just realized it. It's like perfect.
Yeah, it's the Hulk mug, and it even says Hulk Smash.
Oh wow, that's so cool. Nerd. Fucking nerd.
I'm a fucking nerd, dude. You see this Hulk blanket? You see this Hulk shit everywhere?
Jeez, it's crazy.
Hulk tattoo? Come on, what's up?
All right, team. I'm gonna get to the introduction part. So
I am Paul.
do this. Are we ready? All right, guys. Oh, so it's a triple podcast now. We used to do like duos.
It's a gangbang in here.
Now we're just like it's a triple gangbang.
Talk about smashing.
Oh, smash! Got to get the cup up. All right, cool. So I'm gonna start to introduce myself. My name's Paul. Of course, most of you have already met me and know me through my Instagram. I like to basically just give out things how it really is and kind of explain certain things about bodybuilding here and there. And I've met along a few good friends who are very approachable. They're nice people, very incredible individuals. But we're all fucking nerds. So, so there's that. We're all bodybuilders, but we do have different things to us that makes us unique. Next up, whoever's ready, take the stand.
Yeah. So I'm David Demesquita, and I have been on 3 podcasts now with Paul. It's always a good time. I like to party. So no, totally joking, but had to throw it in there. I pretty much like, I think the unique things about us is we don't like to be one-trick ponies. We like to have well-balanced lives, and we like to express that this world, there is more to us than just picking up heavy stuff. Period. So I'm gonna put this one off now.
Charles Vogel. I've actually been on probably about three or four podcasts with Paul as well. Definitely a great topic. I come from powerlifting bodybuilding, as some have heard through it. I also like to party, so there is that. So no, we're going to cover a lot of topics on the basics of bodybuilding and being more than just a one-sided person. Like there's more to life than being really, really ridiculously good looking.
And he's right.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to handle though sometimes, when everyone's
really
looking at you, it's really difficult.
When you see yourself in the reflection of the spoon, and you're like, wow, I'm really, really decently good looking,
Yeah, I tried to bend the spoon one time, like in the Matrix, but it didn't work out too well.
I hope y'all got the movie. Did y'all get the movie reference I was doing? Zoolander? Anyone?
I know, absolutely.
Fucking love that movie.
All right, team. So bodybuilding is a very interesting hobby, I would say. And there are many reasons why people get into it. And for us, we're going to give just our general experience of what got us started. And then from that point on, we'll take it from there. If this is anything that is related, you can relate to, that'd be great. But it also gives you an insight of like what majority of bodybuilders, powerlifters, fitness athletes go through and what their journey is about. So I'm going to start with myself as usual. So what got me into bodybuilding was simply because I was raised by a single mother, and growing up as a kid, I would always get into trouble. I would always get into fights and stuff like that. And I would eventually not pay attention, completely just ignore everyone, just do my own thing. And I got a bunch
Was this in West Philadelphia?
Oh, no, I was not born and raised there.
Get out of confidence.
But
dude, you made that too easy. Dude, it just kind of like rode along with it.
But no, I lived around Philly. Actually, I was maybe like 15 minutes away from West Philadelphia, which isn't that far. So it kind of works out. But yeah, so I would always get in trouble. And then I realized one day I just didn't want to be in trouble all the time. And I started doing sports. I got really into sports. But then as I got older, I realized, you know what? Being part of like a sports team in middle school and high school just doesn't cut it, because nobody wants to like try their hardest or like push themselves. So we started going to the weight room in high school, and I was just like, you know what? I like track, but I love lifting. So I ended up quitting track, and then I've been lifting since. Ever since then, I've just been meeting great people, incredible people, being able to create a business out of it, being able to meet like great, amazing individuals. And I try to my best to make sure I share all these experiences with people. And one of the main thing I try to do on social media is to kind of just give people that outlet that many don't have, which makes a huge difference. If you're somebody who's going through certain life issues, there's always something that you can anchor whatever amount of rage or anger or whatever you're feeling towards something to give you a much more positive, favorable outcome. And I've been doing it since, and I like to keep on doing it and see how things go.
Sure. So I can jump into the topic. I was actually in sports my whole life. Had a pretty easy upbringing, to be honest. And I got into lifting essentially like when I was like 15, 16 years old. Did some high school lifting. It's weird. I did have a hidden aggression, right? Like I never took it out on anyone. I was never really fighting or anything like that. I was always pretty chill, easygoing. But I was an adrenaline junkie. So that's like the aggression, I guess, was the adrenaline rush. And I really did get it from lifting. It's one of the few things in my entire life that I did that I got an adrenaline rush from, besides going 120 miles an hour, drifting, or being on the cusp of death. And I would be usually calm in those moments, which is pretty sad to think about. But either way, when I went to college, I got severely injured, so I had to drop out of soccer. And it had to do with a back injury. Got into lifting a little bit more serious, like I think we talked about, like looking like a Dragon Ball Z character kind of thing. The big shoulders, the shredded abs, the big chest, which the big chest didn't happen for like years and years and years down the road. Still don't have a big chest, but that's okay. So when I transferred into bodybuilding, I needed that outlet. I needed the adrenaline junkie, like kind of mashup where I wasn't like risking people's lives driving like an idiot on the road. And I need that physicality. That's the reason why I played soccer instead of doing track. I was genetically blessed for track, never did track. I know a white boy is not very common to track, but I was very, very fast. Always the fastest one on the field.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I broke like some state records and stuff like that, but I wasn't a football player, so none of it got recorded. Like I was in the like a low 4.4, like 4.42 for a 40-yard dash, and I had horrible running form. So I would have been like way up there, like if I actually practiced at it.
If you ran like a gazelle, yeah.
Actually, that's what my teammates would call me, a gazelle. They were like, dude, you run like a gazelle when you're on the field. I'm like, that sounds like a lion's about to kill me, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Would I be the lion? Well, I actually know I'll be the hunter, lion hunter.
Yeah, probably like shoot me in the Achilles tendon and just like eat me up, right? Yeah, oh no. I am Greek, so I guess the kind of correlates there.
Yeah.
So what really plummeted me into bodybuilding harder was not only the like two people that I met in college when I was first there, but my parents ended up getting divorced on my birthday. So it was the first separate birthday, January 3rd. Happy birthday to me. And then right after that, it was actually my best friend took his life. So one of my best friends, right? And I had a few childhood best friends. And sure enough, that kind of plummeted me into a deep depression. And it's the first time that I really had to feel emotions. First off, I had the finances on my back for the most part. For the first time in my life, it went from like everything to nothing. And I was in college. So I was a broke college student, really broke college student at that point. And that stress was a lot, like all new to me, and like kind of propelled me to become a man almost overnight is how it felt. And my best friend taking his life, and me being the last verbal communication was a lot on me. And I kind of got like emotionally constipated. So I needed this outlet and this rage and this adrenaline to take out on something. And I would walk into the gym like, I don't care if I die today. That was my outlet for me. I didn't drink. So it was basically like that probably, or I probably would have went towards the drug side of it. I guess I was blessed that I was like, I knew that I needed to lift. And don't get me wrong, I like to party. So I, I, I definitely had some drinking involved every once in a while, and I was a heavy drinker when I did drink, but it was very, very uncommon because I just went the opposite route into the bodybuilding world, and I didn't know that I want to be a bodybuilder. I just knew that I loved to lift heavy ass weight. That felt like it could crush every bone in my body, and that was kind of what did it for me. And because of injuries, I fell into the bodybuilding side instead of the powerlifting side.
Nice.
Sounds about right. It's usually, it is funny. Like I've had that. Like you look at a lot of the powerlifting, like now, like powerlifters now, like most of them, I look at a powerlifter and it's like it's someone who failed at bodybuilding because they couldn't really get the size or just they don't have the discipline to get shredded. So they're like, oh, I'm just gonna be a powerlifter, and then they eat like shit, and they're never really strong. They're like mediocre at best. But and then like I looked at some like bodybuilders and it's like people who like were doing good at powerlifting. They're like, yeah, I just got injured all the time because I didn't know how to lift. And they're like, so I just went to bodybuilding. I do see that like, it's very correlative. It's very high how that happens.
I do like how you slide in the fact that I just didn't know how to lift, which is probably true.
No, I mean, but it is like a lot of people when it comes to powerlifting, they don't understand efficiency and like leverages and how you're from like a anatomical standpoint. how someone's body at an anatomical autonomous
Anatomy. Wait.
Anatomy.
Astrology. Got it.
Astrology.
Anatomical.
He said it.
First try. I got it.
No, so there's that. But for me, God, dude, I was just kind of like, I was told like as a baby, like I just kind of had like the freak looking genetics, like abs and shit as a kid. I just always enjoyed picking heavy stuff up, and I literally the very first memory I have is my grandfather was splitting logs, cut down a tree, had him, had it sliced up, and he's like, "Hey, go get that log over there for me." And instead of rolling over, like I was like 6 years old, I like reached down and grabbed this log, just barehunted it and picked it up and walked it over. Then as a kid, it's like, "Hey, what else can I lift that's heavy?" So I kept doing that, and then I was probably like 7, 8 years old. My brother had his first weight bench, and I started lifting. Watching a lot of Arnold back in the day, Commando, and all that, and then cartoons, and I before it was anime, it was comic book characters for me. Hence the Hulk. So I was like, I just wanted to be strong. It was so crazy. Like most of my life, I've had this. It's weird. Like I love like the Hulk mythos because it's like it's Bruce Banner, this mild mannered normal person, and then the Hulk is just this immense rage that really just wants to be fucking left alone. Like, and I always remember as a kid, like I always had the mentality, like being the shorter guy, like there was always this part of me like people fucked with it. I was like, I held back because like I wanted to just let loose and fuck people up. Like stop, like let me just live in peace. Don't fucking push me because I will want to ruin you as a person. Carried over into fucking sports. Did little league football. Ran through people. High school. Got into lifting in high school. Was a powerlifter in high school. Broke my hand my senior year. Screwed up my lifting. Joined the military. Drunk, and a lot of like the younger kid did go back to like I actually did have a shitty childhood, like physically abused, emotionally abused, no dad, just all the fun stuff, the stuff that like molds a great person into a great person,
100%.
yeah. So, and then military, I kind of just had fun, got out, then I was like, okay, I want to do some bodybuilding, but I never went with bodybuilding because I didn't like how bodybuilding looked. And I kept always saying like, man, if they ever brought back classic bodybuilding, I would do that. And then Classic Physique came out and like, I did like prep in 2017 for a show or 2016. Then some shit happened financially. 2017, I had like got real sick, and pulled back. So then last year I was prepping for a show and did powerlifting, or no, not last year now, 2018, I was prepping for a bodybuilding show and jumped into powerlifting and kind of just skyrocketed with that. But I mean, it's weird. I wouldn't say it's an escape because like I've been lifting for so long. It's just kind of like, if I don't lift, it feels weird. Like it's become it's breathing for me at this point because I've been doing it since I was 13. So I'm 34 in on the 1st. So that's a lot of someone's life to have been lifting this long. And it's always just, the old school bodybuilders, I loved heavy lifting, heavy deads, heavy squats, heavy bench, overhead press, and just like all the big movements. Like machines were always great, but there was nothing crazier than just hearing 45s clean against a bar. And that now, like I barely even listen to music when I'm lifting. I'm just so zoned in on like what the hell's going on. It's kind of like it's who the hell I am. So I mean, it was an escape, and it was funny like being short because I always like, well, if I'm fucked here, I can't change that. You know, I might as well just get as jacked as I can and be stronger than everybody. So that way, if someone wants to pick on the short guy, you know, I'll make it a little bit harder for him, I guess. You know, but yeah, no. And then you know, genetically blessed at being a short guy, so let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have like different reasons of why we start, but I think from the mental standpoint, it all seems like there's a certain click
Yeah.
that we all go through and then we realize, oh, this thing that we're doing helps improve our overall quality of life.
Yeah.
And because of that, we keep on doing it. And when we do it, we get further and further into it.
I think these triggers that you're talking about tend to be pretty extreme to make us go to extremes to avoid a bad extreme, right? Like like what we were talking about earlier, right before this call started, was this like bodybuilding is an extreme. It's not being healthy, right? Like you should try to stay healthy if you can. Health, longevity, that's kind of what sort of gets you into it, but it like that's like working out. But then when you go to powerlifting or you go to bodybuilding, it tends to be more of the extreme. It's a replacement variable to make sure that you don't have a detrimental extreme.
Well, it's when you look at these, it's the idea of chasing any perceived level of greatness takes an extreme mindset. Look at someone like Elon Musk.
I was going to use it.
It's an extreme across the board. You look at someone like The Rock. It's an extreme across the board. You look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's an extreme across the board. And it's I have this quote that I created. It's because I always set like crazy goals and everyone's like, oh, you should be more realistic, or like, oh, you know, you should do this. And I'm like, and I literally what I say is like, I'd rather set unrealistic goals and fall into greatness than set achievable goals and land in mediocrity, which is what, and you know, Les Brown talks about it in one of his speeches where he talks about some people, they shoot too low. Because if you shoot too low and you fall short, then what did you do? Like, you know, aim for the stars. Grant Cardone has the 10x rule that talks about that. You know, just go big. But it is an unhealthy variability. But it's like, at what point are you like? Yes, I could just live a healthy lifestyle, but why? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why not try to push something? Why not try to at least go somewhere with something? Like, I don't want to just be. Like, I want to become something.
Yeah. So it has to do with the extraordinary and shoot for the moon. And even if you miss, you land amongst the stars, right? So that's the saying that I kind of live by, which is across the board what you said. So yeah, extremes create extraordinary. And a lot of people live in mediocrity and live a comfortable lifestyle. They settle for a partner that they shouldn't be settling with. Stuff along the lines of that.
Yeah, Socrates. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. For me personally, it's weird. I mean, I like the extreme aspect of bodybuilding because I think the reason why humanity itself has evolved to the way that it's where it's at currently is because of the extreme.
100%.
Our entire reason to be able to kind of progress and get better is that we have to experience adversity and then keep on pushing further and further to get to where we need to be. And one of the most interesting quote that I've read was by Aristotle, which was, no man has the right to be an amateur in a matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and the strength of which his body is capable. So we do have people out there who get so comfortable with what their lives can be or what their lives are, and they never try to go outside of their comfort zone to be able to push further to what it could be. Instead, they're just, okay, this is what the life I want to live. It's mediocre. I wake up every day. I do this, I do that, go to work. But it's like, I feel like there's no sense of direction or guidance to what you yourself as a person would want to do. And this is why we need to have certain passions that we know that we can do the best that we can into it. For me, it's bodybuilding. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, I'm genetically blessed in terms of bodybuilding, but I have a good response to training and eating. And then I was like, okay, so if I have all these things where it's probably like mediocre or somewhere close to there, why don't I just take this as far as I can? And and that's why I decided to just push everything to the extreme to make sure I know that I can do it and then have my body get itself to that point where it's just to that extreme. And that's what some people just are not willing to do. People are scared of the extreme because of all the effects that will happen, all the side effects, all the things that will go on. But at the end of the day, do you really want to sit there and just be comfortable and not take that risk to see what you're truly capable of? And it goes beyond just your body. Like if you're working somewhere and you want to get like a promotion, you're going to have to do extreme things to get you to where you need to be. If you have a relationship, you're going to have to kind of, I guess, in a sense, not too extreme, but then do what it needs to be done to get your relationship to the point where it needs to be. So we should always be able to improve ourselves so we can be better as we go, because you're only young for a short period of time. When you get older, you'll never be able to do the things that you could do when you're younger. So why don't you just do everything that you can now? So this way, when you get older, you can just look back and be like, you know what? I have no regrets.
I think the most important thing that, I'll make it short. I think the most important thing that I learned when I was young, and this is when I was in college, is be uncomfortable or be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Because when you're in that uncomfortable zone, and like the no pain, no gain thing, that's like more of an extreme, but like you truly do. So I'm an introvert by nature, right? I had it when I was going out to, I like to party thing, but that'll be the name of the title. When I would go to like parties, right, and I'd be around people, I'd be kind of uncomfortable, right? But I'd be like, okay, I'm uncomfortable. Let's make this situation comfortable. Hey, what's up? How are you doing? You know, and it's just like when people are like, hey, what's the best advice that you could give to, I don't want to say picking up women, but like meeting new women, is have a conversation with them like they're friends. It's not an uncomfortable situation. They're people where, like, yeah, women and men think completely differently, right?
They do.
But at the end of the day, we're people. It's like if you're a famous person, you're a person. So just don't be uncomfortable. Be like, hey, what's up? Like, even Colin Vimogra at the show, like, I mean, people were like, I don't want to say like sucking up to him, right? But people were sucking up to him. And like, you know, like I was just standing off to the side, like chilling, doing my thing because I didn't run. I'd be like, hey, what's up, man? He like walked up, he's like, hey, what's up, bro? And we just had a casual conversation, right? Because he's a person. He was cool.
Yeah, he was really chill.
Yeah, he was chill, super chill. Like exactly like how he's kind of perceived online. Like that's how he is. But I just like treat everyone treat everyone as you would like to be treated. But people think very similarly. The person that you just talked to is probably uncomfortable too at the party. Maybe not as uncomfortable as you, but if you talk to someone, you're going to be comfortable within your uncomfort.
Yeah, that's so funny because it's like, you know, piggybacking off Paul, then I'll piggyback off you. It's like what people, it's fear of failure, 100%. The thing about failure, it's inevitable to succeed, so you have to become comfortable with failing. So therefore, it's an uncomfortable nature. I actually have a poem that's actually called "It's Comfortably Uncomfortable" or "Uncomfortably Comfortable," but it's based the idea of some of my biggest turning points in life was when I was in my most uncomfortable position. Like it was putting myself in that. Me, I was never an introvert person. Like I'm ambivert, I guess, because I like being away from people because they can be jackasses as a whole. But I've always been the type of person to do that. When it comes to women, like that's been a natural thing. My brother told me something when I was very young, and he's like, you can go to a bar and ask 100 women to sleep with you. 99 might slap you, but one's gonna say yes. So it's the idea. He's like, you're going to get rejected. You're going to get rejected. So, and you begin to understand that like most women are they're just
people.
They're creatures, and it doesn't matter how beautiful. They're just creatures. It doesn't matter like how beautiful they are, like who the hell they are as a person. Like at the end of the day, like a lot of them, and especially like all of us can agree with this, as you know, we've met people who are on social media who are perceived as like, oh my God, like type people, and then you meet them and you realize that they're just kind of like, they're fucked up. They're like, we're all fucked up at the end of the day. Like we all have some are very aware, and I think like there's awareness, there's acknowledgement, and then there's like you can attack the situation like to fix that. But a lot of people live in the state of avoidance. Like a lot of people are aware, they acknowledge it, but they avoid everything because it's comfortable. It's you don't have to be anything more than who you are because, well, for one, social media makes it easy to be accepted. Like it's the whole like, accept me who I am, and if you don't, someone else will, instead of like facing this. But that's the idea of facing uncomfortable. Like, okay, this is a fucked up part of me. Let's fix this. And a lot of people that bodybuild, like we understand this, that we're always trying to fix something. Then the idea of the mentality aspect is like we always face a face value of trying to fix something physically. Like, okay, week this, week that, and then, but a lot of people I think in bodybuilding need to take that value and face it internally to fix who they are as people, like to actually attack their stuff mentally, and that's how you get that longevity in the sport.
I just want to piggyback off the social media topic. So you said some really good points about people will accept me for me, which they should anyways, right? There should be no judgment. But as far as social media goes, there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there. People are going to bash you when you do. Actually, the better that you do, the more bashing you're going to get. So when you start getting haters, congratulations, you've actually made it.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you
No,
don't
I
have
get
haters,
you.
what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
It's great.
dude, there's multiple people out here in Houston that have told me like people want to see you fail.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you made it.
They saw me fail, but you know what I did? Got the fuck back up and kept doing what they aren't capable of doing. And it's not like a cocky standpoint. It's just confidence. Like I can look at them and say, the things you're wanting to do are the things I've already done, and that bothers you.
Yeah.
I can tell you how to do it, but you're not willing to listen because you don't want to put your ego away.
Winners are people that have lost over and over again, and they just never give up. They're good losers, is what they are. That's what a winner is.
Great losers. Yes, great losers. Conor McGregor, perfect fucking example. He's a great loser.
Just to piggyback off Charles and social media, people are very scared to fail. So many people in the world are so scared to fail because they're afraid of just kind of like losing that illusion of what their lives is. Aside from that, social media has been very interesting for me at the end of last year. I've never really experienced a bunch of people hating on me per se until last year when I had a video that went like viral. And it was a surprise to me. It was a surprise to me because I was just like, wow, I can't believe that people actually just go on the computer and text message like random stuff and then get mad that you're doing something to improve your life, but then they hate you for that. It's like it was the most absurd thing in the world. And social media, it's a great way to kind of interact with people, but it also has some negative negative feedbacks that come along with it. And if you're someone who's like well known, you have to be able to handle that. And if you don't handle that, it gets pretty bad. And that's where the emotional aspect comes from most people, where certain people just can't handle all the hate, all the pressure, and what people expect them to be. Or if you inspire someone, they hold you to like a much higher standard for some reason. And you're just like, dude, I just want to work out, post video of me working out and then giving you free advice.
Yes.
It's like, why?
So we were talking about the person before the phone call, so you all already know who this is, Charles. But I posted a video on basically execution, proper execution. I was doing this entire series, right? And this was on shoulder or side raises, right? And I basically made a little slip up comment being like, yeah, if you're going back like this, you're actually not really doing anything for your medial delt, right? Well, I mean, you're doing a lot more than just your medial delt, and it's probably going to create shoulder impingements, right? But I didn't say that, and I just said you're probably not really working your medial delt that well. Like I kind of said it like that, and someone goes on there and they're like, as soon as you break 15 degrees of parallel movement to the outside, you are activating your side. But nice try, man. And this is an 18-year-old kid that has a horrible physique, and it's okay. Like we all started. Like I didn't have a good physique when I was 18 years old, but and I'm like, look, man, I'm just trying to put out some good content, helping you with your form. But whatever works for you works for you. And then he starts tagging in someone with a master's degree, and you know who that is too. And be like, this is my source. And I'm like, because what I essentially did was I was like, here's Jeff Napard's video on shoulders. He's a lot smarter than me. He has a master's degree, whatever. And I was like, he even used a pinky up cue. He used every single cue that I gave to avoid shoulder impingements and better activation, right? And better form. Every single one. And I didn't even watch the video ever. I just pulled it up and I was like, well, he's smarter than me. Why don't you go watch the video? He's like, this is my source. And I'm just like, look, man, cool. And like we talked off the side, right? And we were cool with each other. And then he unfollowed me later on. Whatever. It is what it is. But like it's just like you put out content to help people, and everyone's like, "Wow, great video!" Like all the things you put out there, like I use, and they worked phenomenally. And then you have that one person, and you just can't let it get to you. I think it's just the success factor behind it, and the fact that you're getting more clout than certain people makes people hate you. And it's really, really unfortunate because like I only surround myself with positive people. You two are both very positive people. Every single person that I am surrounded around. Oh, hello. So
yes,
we wake up and we shit success. So either way, I think just the people that you surround yourself with, like if you're surrounded by negative people, you're going to start reaping negative things. And like one thing I do hate about like the studies that be done is
Don't get me started.
there's so many skewed studies, and there's so many. And first off, like when you're talking about unnatural things and you're throwing unnatural equations into it, keep in mind that these aren't things that are put into the equation usually.
You mean the evidence-based people who evidently look small always?
No improvement. Oh, well, I'm fine with like some of these guys are big.
I did it.
But when they don't make
and I do.
They don't
Yeah.
make improvements. Like, and it's like you guys are doing things that like are not really healthy, and you're doing more of them than you should be doing, and you're still not making improvements. So something's off. Maybe try something different or being open-minded, right?
Alrighty, so that was the first half of the podcast that we did over the weekend. Um, I thought it was pretty interesting. We all had a great time with it, and it was very enjoyable and a lot of laughable moments. So, with that said, what I want to kind of ask you guys, if you like these kind of things and you like the information that we're given, give us a review. Tell us how we're doing. Let us know what we need to work on. And also, if you get a chance and you have people that you know that would kind of enjoy watching this podcast, like it, share it, comment, and overall, when you do all those things, more people will see it. So get ready because I will be posting part 2 in about 3 to 4 days, and that's going to be just as fun.